Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Sara and this is my creative space on YouTube where I used to share my creative outlets and interests. Mainly knitting, quite a bit of sewing and yeah, weaving a bit. I did dive into spinning a bit and yeah, but I see this day as a new beginning for this channel. I haven't posted in a while. Life has been a lot. We got a puppy 3 years ago and he's finally kind of settled down, and I have made some changes in my schedule for this autumn. So I cut down some time on Fridays, so maybe I will have time to dedicate to this channel and to this big part of my life that I actually really love. This knitting community have given me so much. Some of my absolute closest friends in life I have met through YouTube and this wonderful community, and I really do miss it, and it's time for me to spend this time for me to get back to you and talk about my absolute biggest interests. As this is kind of a new beginning, I thought I should just tell you a little bit about myself. I have my notebook here, so if I'm looking down, it's because of that. This feels not that normal anymore. I feel that I might talk a bit fast, and if I do, I'm so sorry. And English is not my main language, so pardon me for maybe saying stuff wrong and pronouncing it wrong, but I'll try to do my best to keep this channel in English and going forward. So, as I said, my name is Sara. You can find me on Instagram as Wallgren Makes and on Ravelry as MrsWallgren. I started this channel about 5 years ago, and for 2 years I only did this in Swedish, but later on I continued in English to reach out to all of the lovely people that I followed that were English speaking channels. The last year and a half I haven't posted almost anything. I did a few snippets of my advent for you, but that's pretty much it. So a fun thing is that I downloaded the app, oh my god, I don't even know what it's called now. YouTube, yeah, an app for YouTube, and we are over 4,000 on this channel, which is so weird and so fun, and I hope that you all enjoy me coming back to YouTube and that you will stay here. And to all of you that are new, that haven't watched my channel before, you are also very welcome. So about me, I am 35 years old. I live very far down south in Sweden. I have 2 children. I have a dog and a husband. And yeah, I work as a, I don't know what you call it even. I work as a seamstress. I don't sew clothes and anything for work, but I sew like interior stuff for cars and caravans, and I sew pillows for a brand located here where I live that is making some sustainable interior that are made here in Blekinge. And yeah, a lot of different things. We work a lot for the Marines, so I sew all the curtains and everything for the submarines, and yeah, a lot of that. Yeah, I have dove into why I stopped doing YouTube for a while. Life just got a a little bit much actually. I love my work, I love my kids, and I love our dog, but he has been a he has been a handful to take care of actually, and that was something we expected and didn't expect. He's a Lagotto Romanolo, so we knew that the puppy years would be rough, and it has been, and we have gotten through them, and we are finally at a place where we really are settled in this new family life. But his name is Bilbo, after the Hobbit. I'm a huge Lord of the Rings and any type of historical or fiction, fantasy, drama nerd. I love all of that. Since I started knitting in 2018, I don't read physical books that much, but I love to listen to audiobooks, and I have quite an obsession of buying knitting books. I just love having them in my hand, looking at the pictures and everything, but reading physical books I don't do that much anymore, but I'm a huge fan of audiobooks actually. Yeah, about my crafting life. Knitting is my one true love in life, except for, you know, the obvious husband and kids. But I found knitting in a time of my life where it was really necessary, and since then I have not stopped for a day. And yeah, I do quite a lot of sewing, but sewing for me is more about the product actually. I don't dislike it, but it's more like work for me. So I am getting there to an almost all me-made wardrobe. I make all of my clothes except for like workout wear and like outdoor garments for like hiking and skiing. And I don't make underwear, and once or twice a year I buy some t-shirts for like summertime, just plain cotton t-shirts, because that is most boring thing for me to do, is to sew those kind of stuff. Otherwise I am going forward with my me-made wardrobe. I think it's hard to stop when you have begun doing that, because all of a sudden you are in a place where even if you find clothes that you like, you can't really be happy with all the details. Maybe that dress is beautiful, but I wanted the skirt a little bit longer. Maybe that dress fitted well, but I wanted to take the bodice in. You get quite picky about colors and materials and the fits. So I sew, and I sew in periods a lot, and in long periods not at all, because I use the things I sewed in the past period. I do a little bit of weaving in periods. That is something that is taking some time. A few different like periods of the year, and I really love it. So I have this rigid head loom that I weave a little bit on, and I will talk a little bit about that later today on ongoing projects. I started to spin 1.5, almost 2 years ago. So I bought myself a spinning wheel, and I actually sold that before vacation this year or in early summer, because as I suffer from the syndrome, I don't know what that's called, but in Sweden we say the good girl syndrome, that if I can't do something truly and dive into it and feel that I can really dive into something, I don't think it's fun. So because of the dog was one thing, I couldn't have my wheel like up in our like main living room or something. He didn't touch the wheel, but he really loved the wool, so I couldn't have it there. So for me it was like spin for a little bit, and then I had to carry the spinning wheel up here to our bedroom in our closet. So it just sat there for so much time, and if you don't do something regularly and a lot, you really doesn't get anywhere. So for me that was more stressful than enjoyable. I loved the process when I actually did it, but for me it's just not worth having stuff in my life that makes me feel stressed. And that is something that I do in all my crafts actually. I am a person that doesn't like to have UFOs. I don't have any usually. That stresses me out so much, and I have no problem whatsoever on ripping a project out, however many hours it had taken me, because I love the process of knitting so much that if the project doesn't give me joy or I don't feel that spark anymore, I rather use the yarn and make it into something else. So that's a big thing too, that if I show you something here, that's something I'm working on, and otherwise I don't have like unfinished projects anywhere. I had for a while, and that is actually something I have ripped out, a big thing, but oh, I just can't bear it. I'm so impressed with people that can like cast something on and then later in the year they can pick it up. I wish I was like that, but I'm not, and it's okay. We are all different, and let's embrace that instead. I am trying to really embrace that that's my way of crafting. Yeah, I thought a little bit when I wrote my notes about what I want for the future, both in my crafting and in my working with the channel. And going forward, I want to really just embrace the love I actually have for knitting, make stuff that makes my heart sing, and yeah, really going forward with actually doing that one thing that I love the most. And if I get spark for sewing or anything, I will do it, or if I need something for my wardrobe, I will do it. And I'm sure that weaving will come out in my life again quite soon. So let's just dive in. I don't want to talk about finished objects or anything, because that's a lot since we talked last time, and yeah, let's just not dive into that. I will just say that I won't be doing like long show notes or edit this a lot before I put it out to YouTube, because if this is gonna work, it has to be simple for me. But I will link my Ravelry down in the description bar. So if you have any questions or want to know what pattern, what designer, what yarn, or what needle size I use, I upload all my projects to Ravelry. So that is the simplest way to get to know my projects. And yeah, so I will just, if you go to my Ravelry, all the patterns I'm working on are gonna be there. So let's just continue as we normally do on this channel. Normally, like 1.5, 2 years to go. But I can talk about what I'm wearing first. This is a gingham dress that I sewed, I don't know, I think it was this winter or early spring. It's just in a plain cotton gingham fabric from either Olssons Tyger or Self-Made, I don't know. But I sewed this one. It has 3/4 length sleeves and I absolutely love it. It's an indigo dress. So it's a pattern by Tilly and the buttons, and I have sewed this so many times. I love the fit, I love the tweaks and twerks I've done with this pattern, so it will fit me good. This one is quite high in the neck. I have also done it more deep here. I have done it more like a boat neck, and for the last few dresses I have added bias binding instead of facing to this dress, because I just feel like it lays flat, it's more flowy and easy, and for me that works really good. So let's dive into ongoing project. I have 3 knitting projects, which is quite a lot for me. I'm usually about 2 projects in, maybe one more complicated, one more simple, but yeah, it just became like this today. And you know what? Even if I say something now that this is how I want to do, that can change. We are humans and we are allowed to change. But this is the way that I've mostly been in my creative life, so probably this will continue. But my first ongoing project I did cast on before vacation, but I didn't bring it to vacation this year because it's very woolly and we were heading south to some warmer weather. So this has been started but waiting for a few weeks, but as I got home it was so lovely to dig into the wool again. It's a pattern from this book by MrsWallgren. It's actually the pattern of the sweater she is wearing on the cover. The pattern is cat bells. I will see if I can have a better picture here. And I'm a huge MrsWallgren fan. I love it. I love to knit her patterns. I love to work on them, and I love to wear them actually. In my everyday life maybe they are quite busy, but I love the yarn and the headerness in the yarn, so even if it's a lot of colors I don't actually mind when it's her yarn. And let's see, where is it? Oh, here it is. And I just love MrsWallgren's books. I can sit and just look in these ones for hours because of the beautiful photography. I love always the beautiful tartan skirts and the style of the model, and yeah. So I am working on Cat Bell's sweater, and here is my ongoing sweater. I am working this in MrsWallgren's own yarn, British Breeds, and I am following the colors exactly as she has charted, except for 2, and I will show you them and explain why. These are her colors. I don't do like fancy project bags or anything. I always carry my knitting in baskets that I buy in thrift stores, but for MrsWallgren's yarn I actually always have them in this because I don't want to mix it with my other yarns. So for 2 places in the yoke you are supposed to use this color, and looking at it like this, I mean, it's just so incredibly heathered and beautiful. But purple is the color that I have a hard time with this color, and I don't know why, because looking at it is beautiful. I love the pattern itself, I love looking at pictures, I love other people's pictures of this sweater, I love seeing people knitting in purple. But it's just not for me. And another color that I like but I don't like in this sweater because it's too like bright and in my eyes is this it's called Foxglove. So these 2 I have excluded from my sweater, and instead of these 2 I have just replaced the purple one with the rose. That is a purpley, wine red, pink, mauvey color. So it has some purple tones in it, but it's not purple. And this blossom color, that is one of my absolute favorite colors actually in the world. This is the blossom, and I really like this one. So as I normally do, I always turn the patterns if I can. If a pattern is knitted bottom up, I almost always turn it to be knitted the other way. Oh, excuse me. If I can find a way to do it. That's just my preferred method of knitting, and I know that if you are used to knitting bottom up, you can get a knowledge about how you want stuff to like fit, how long you want the bodice, how long you want the sleeves, how you like doing the decreases. But for me, making and knitting in particular is so much about trying it on as I go. So for me, it's easier to do this than to try to understand how long the yoke will be and how that fit me would be for me. Now I can take one bit at a time and I can try it on as I go, and yeah, that works for me. So I have started this top down. I did add some short rows in the back because that is not included in the pattern. And this is quite busy for being me, but there's something about MrsWallgren's yarn that just is so incredibly beautiful, and they are almost these jeweled tones, and that is something, I mean, I'm not a blue person, but this mallard color, I don't know, it just really works for me in this type of sweater. So I have steam blocked this today, and I will probably knit 3 centimeters more before I do the ribbing, and then I'm off to the sleeves. So this is very much ongoing and is going to be my main project for the next little while, because I really want to have this finished. So yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot. That is cat balls. Something else that I casted on, and this was not a planned cast on actually, but I saw Hilja's podcast. She's Stitched Craft, I think, here on YouTube and on Instagram. She had test knitted this beautiful, let me see, Hilja dress by Ronja Hakalito, and I had the yarn at home, and I just went for it. I fell in love the minute I saw her pictures of her dress, and I just couldn't resist. So this is my Hilja dress. This is supposed to be worked in two threads of fingering weight. I am using a sport weight, but I actually think that Ullcentrum Öland's 2-ply, or actually a lot of the 2-ply wools, can be used as a DK because they are so fluffy, and for me it doesn't matter if the fabric is a little bit more sheer because this is gonna be warm. So this is my Hilja dress. I had to go up, let me see, I had to go up to 4.5 millimeter needles for the main fabric of the bodice, and the only change I've done to the pattern is that for the skirt you were supposed to use the same needle size as you did for the bodice. And just a second, so excuse me, the kids needed me, but where were I? Yeah, For the pattern you are supposed to use the same needle size as you did for the main body, but I changed up. I used a 4.5 here, I used a 5mm needle for the skirt part. Because I want the skirts to be a little bit fuller and more draped. So this is how far I've got. So now I just have miles and miles of stockinette stitch to do. I don't wear any dresses or skirts that are above the knee. I would much more prefer it to be like cuff length. And I have 3 more 100 gram skeins left. So I hope that this will be quite long, a lot longer than the pattern calls for. And I will knit for as long as I have yarn, actually. So yeah, this is the Hilja dress. I think it would be beautiful. I think I will wear it with maybe a long sleeved t-shirt or a more fitted shirt or something for fall and winter. This will be quite warm in 2-ply wool and a dress, so I don't think this will be anything I will be wearing soon, but I think it would be a lovely piece to have when the weather gets cooler. So no rush with this. This will be my like TV series or film or social knitting for this fall, but yeah, I'm excited to keep on going with it. And I have one more knitting project on my needles, and as I normally do, I tweak the patterns a bit to fit my needs. And I have for so long wanted to make like a classic, I think you call it like 3 and star or star and 3 yoke, a Shetland yoke. And then my good friend Anne made a cardigan by Kate Davis. I think it's called like something like Cockatoo Brie or Cockatoo Bray or something. And it's just so beautiful. But I didn't want a cardigan, I wanted a sweater, and this sweater has been in my Ravelry favorites for a while. And this is the Adenia sweater. This is a pattern by Ella Gordon, that is a Shetland designer. She works on Jamieson and Smith, and this is my version. It's gonna be a very neutral, easygoing yoke, and I have used, I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different shades of brown, and then I have 2 background colors, and then the little dot in the middle of the Colorwork is actually this pink from MrsWallgren. And this is a mixture, the yoke is a mixture of MrsWallgren's British breeds, and there is some Jamieson and Smith, and then it's Rauma Lamulgarn. So there's a big mix of yarns in this yoke. And this is quite funny. I have wanted to knit something like this for a long time, but to knit this kind of Shetland yoke, you're supposed to be doing decreases in the Colorwork around the tree to get this yoke to be in that nice shape. And I have done so many tries on trying to turn this type of yoke or Colorwork around, but I haven't found a way where the increases that you have to do like 1 step up instead of 1 step down from the original chart. to lay nicely and be as neat and tidy as it is working bottom up. But I am so picky about length, and I want to try on the sleeves as I go, and I want to be able to fit the yoke as I want, because you should be knitting this bottom up, then there's a bit of raglan decreases, and then you do the yoke, and then you do this. But one late night I had an idea about making a provisional cast on here, and then I worked from here up and did all the color work. I did the decreases, I did the short rows, and I did the ribbing. And this is steam blocked now, and I really like the fit. It's quite form fitted, but that is exactly what I want for this sweater. And now I will take my main colored yarn, and that is going to be the body and the sleeves, and work downwards instead. So last night I sat with my paper and tried to figure out if I have this many stitches for the arm when the raglan increases are done. How many should it be if I have increased? Yeah, that's a lot of thinking, but it's worth it for me to do that, to be able to work this sweater the way I want. So now I am ready to place some pins out for the raglan, and I will be making some raglan increases for the yoke before I separate for sleeves and body. And the main color will be this color of Jameson and Smith. It's the color 2, it's called Grey Brown. And this has been in a project that I have been working on for a long time, slowly. It's a MrsWallgren pattern, and I never thought I would rip it out, but the joy went away when I started to like sew the sleeves up and tried it on. I just pinned it to the front pieces that I had left, that I had finished, and was about to start the back piece this summer, and I just felt like this is something that it's not gonna fit my style. How much I even loved working on it, and it has been a lot of hours, but those hours have brought me so much joy in the time of making, so I don't mind. This yarn will be something beautiful and something I will wear, and before that it has served me the relaxation, the fun of knitting all those cables that it was in that cardigan, and I don't regret it at all. And I know it seems crazy for people to do that, but that's just how I chose to do. So I have 2 Colorwork sweaters and 1 dress that is now only stockinette stitched left. Oh, except for I have a little bit of Colorwork for the sleeves on my cat belts, but that might not be my most fun thing to knit. I like doing colorwork, I like working on small needles, I love patterns that is a little bit more complicated, but when I have finished the cat bells, I will continue with this one, and the Hilja dress will just have to go along all autumn and be ready for me to wear this winter. So that was my 3 ongoing knitting project. That is all I'm working on there. I have 1 more exciting project on my needles, and that is some sewing and also some weaving, actually, because I have woven and felted the fabric for my next make. I wove and felted this fabric last autumn, and I was planning to make a waistcoat or something to wear over Colorwork, and knitted sweaters for it to be a sort of style of a stick-a-ma-leave, but not a stick-a-ma-leave. You can just like feel that a colorwork sleeve, but just a vest over it, and you can use it for other things too. So I have cut my pattern pieces out. This is one of the fronts. I will show you. So this is the fabric. I have woven this fabric on my rigid head loom, and I have felted it quite hard in the washing machine, and then I have stretched it quite a bit when it still was wet. So you really pull that fabric out to make it quite flowy and beautiful. And this is very sturdy now. So I have 2 front pieces and I have 2 back pieces. So I will need to sew my back pieces together because the width of my fabric didn't allow me to use the whole width of the vest. So I have both front and both back pieces, and I have my little pockets. So this is a pattern by Luna that has the amazing podcast Thread and Yarns here on YouTube. I highly recommend her podcast and her creative space on Instagram, and yeah, she's a big inspiration and highly recommend you to check her out. And this is the Bilbo vest, which is so fitting because Bilbo Baggins is a big inspiration for me this fall in terms of clothes and how I want to wear stuff. And yeah, we have our own little Bilbo, and I love myself a vest. That is some of my absolute most used knitted items are my vests that I've used knit. So a one that I have sewn will be a good addition to that. So I have some decisions to make. This is quite thin and her version are quilted, but I don't want to quilt into this fabric because I just think that the structure and the wool of this fabric should shine on its own. So I think I will line this with a pure like linen yarn, like raw linen or natural linen that I actually have in my stash. So this will be lined, and then it will be buttons in the front, and I can't decide if I want to have wooden buttons or maybe I should have some snap buttons in a brass, or maybe this dark gray like faded black color so they don't show off as much on the pockets. Yeah, I don't know. I have some decisions to make, but that was a lot of wool flying around. But that is ongoing. So I'm very excited for that vest actually, and I'm very excited to see how this turned out. So I can weave some fabric in another color and make myself some other ones. There is another version of this pattern that is a little bit longer, so maybe I could do that and maybe weave a little bit of a thicker fabric for winter to be able to layer up. And yeah, you know, the ideas are there, just need to find the time. And that's pretty much everything I have to talk about today actually. I thought I can just show you. I use these types of journals, but I don't bullet journal. I don't plan my life in these. I just use them for inspiration, to doodle, to make lists. That is one of my biggest interests in life. And I like to have like inspiration goals and something to think about. I love Pinterest, and it doesn't mean that I stick to this. It's just what I feel right now. And yeah, I have written down some words of inspiration, and Bilbo Baggins is one of them. I have really enjoyed wearing like these very baggy linen pants that I sewed this summer, and I would love to have a pair maybe in a dark linen brown color, like very baggy with like a knitted sweater and a vest on top. That feels very Bilbo baggy in style. I have written layers. I can get quite warm, and layers is a good thing, and I think it looks so comfy and it's so hugging to have many layers to get on and off. And yeah, I have written down vests, brown, love that color right now, comfy. I don't want anything to be too tight or uncomfortable to wear. I have written down Fair Isle because that is one of my absolute favorite things to knit. Woodsy and neutrals. That's about it. I have a making wish list. The Bilbo vest in home woven fabric. I would like to make some more 2x2 ribbed hat, gnome edition, like these pointy tops, and I would love to have one in brown. I have my Hilja dress. I have high-waisted brown linen pants, and I am thinking about the pattern bob pants. Classic Fair Isle joke that is on the go. I would love to have some colorwork mittens, like classic Norwegian style, maybe in a very classic like black and white, or maybe a very dark brown and a white or a light gray one. I want to knit myself a big woolly scarf, maybe something simple like the Angabode shawl by my dear friend Anna. That is an amazing pattern. I love it, and I love wearing the ones I've made. And yeah, I just want to find some really like fluffy wool yarn, and I would love to make a colorwork vest. I have bought the pattern and yarns for one of Teti Lutsak, I think it is named. Yeah, or maybe some classic like Fair Isle vest to wear over long sleeved dresses or over a shirt or something in the winter. And that's about it for inspiration right now, actually. I am very happy with the projects I have ongoing. Of course, there are stuff I want to cast on, but I don't feel like this urge to cast on right now. I'm very content about the projects I have. And we are heading into my favorite season of the year. We are heading into autumn, and I love that. I am this year I have actually enjoyed the warmth and the sun more than I usually do, and I think partly because we had such a grey and rainy and cold spring here, but I'm an autumn person, totally. I love the clothes, I love the colors. I think I feel a little bit misplaced in spring. No, maybe not spring, but in summer. I lose my sense of style or what I like, because I don't knit like a lot of summery things. This year I have done, because I couldn't use like wool on my hands on the places we went this summer. We were down in Croatia and Italy, and it was warm. So I made two things that I'm very happy about. I made a dress and a scarf in a linen and a silk, and that was a great experience. I loved that. But then I also made a skirt in cotton, a pencil skirt, which is not something I like to wear, so I don't know why I did that, but I enjoyed the process. I made it ready. I fastened all the ends, and I blocked it and made it properly like done. And I drove that down in a bag of things I had like sorted out of my closet to the thrift store, and when I was there the other day it wasn't left anymore, so someone has found it and made it a new home. So that makes me incredibly happy, and it brought me a lot of joy and knitting time this summer. So that's amazing. Sorry about the slurp, but that is very hot tea, so that will have to be it. So this was fun. Maybe rambly, maybe I have rolled my eyes a bit too much because I'm stressed and a little bit nervous, and I hope you can live with that. I hope to be back here in a couple of weeks actually. Yeah, I really want to make this work, and I have put some time in it, and this is not something I get paid for. I don't earn any money on this or my Instagram. This is purely for fun and for me having somewhere to talk and reach out and embrace my crafty life. So it will be exciting to see. If you like this video and this channel, please consider giving it a thumbs up, or maybe subscribe to my channel. That would be very lovely. And I will see you back here in a couple of weeks. Happy knitting till then. Bye.